You know, when you're like 14, an 18-year-old seems like a real old person. You know?
That's true. You know, when you're like 13, I can't wait to turn 18 because then I could have ice cream for dinner, you know, or whatever, whatever like weird, outlandish thing that you couldn't do at all before you were 18.
Right.
Even though we all know that we were sometimes having ice cream for dinner all along.
Right.
The parents just didn't know it.
Right. Because it was illegal. We should let people know that in Muscatine, ice cream's not actually legal to purchase until you're 18. So
it just became legal, actually.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There were a lot of people that would sell to you underage, though, like fiddlesticks down on the island. Oh, yeah. And the Schwan man, like, he didn't check ID, you know?
No.
Actually, the ice cream trucks usually would let you get away with it, but yeah, if you went to like Sunmart, there's no way. They'd be like, ID, please.
Greetings, citizens of Earth. Welcome to Accelerativ Thrust. I'm Dan.
And I'm Erik.
And today we're going to talk about our top 10 of 2023.
Yeah. I got to tell you, this was a hard assignment.
Definitely. The hardest year as far as like everything. I don't know. There was just so much music that came out this year that was of quality that it was really hard for me to decide who's going to be on my top 10 and who isn't.
Yeah, I found this to be difficult to do because most of the listening I do of music is for this show. So that takes up a lot of time. And sometimes it's hard to get caught up on things coming out this year. Like, honestly, my list was probably half stuff we talked about and half stuff that I found just within the last couple months, like getting ready for this list. So it's kind of weird to say something is your favorite, even though I may have only heard it, like a week ago. But
yeah, absolutely.
It's, that's the way it is. Because like I said, I don't listen to a ton of stuff outside of what we cover on the show. So, so that made it kind of difficult. It was like so much has come out this year that I missed, like I got to get caught up, but I think I did. Yeah. So,
and also like another thing about this year, man, is it just seems like it just never stopped, man. There's, like you said, there's stuff that is still coming out like to this day.
Oh yeah.
It seems like, and I'm just like, what? This came out? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's been a really good year for music.
That's for sure.
There's some classics, like classic artists that I've been listening to a long time that came out with stuff. And then there's new artists, like a whole bunch of new artists that I came out maybe in the past 5 years or maybe even the past 2 years that came out with some really great stuff. I'm super excited to share the list because there's some really, really great stuff here. All right. So what do you think? You think we should go ahead and get into our top 10 of 2023 and start the record time for the last time in this year? All right. That sounds good. So the way we're going to do this is we're each going to recite our top 10, starting from number 10 to number 1. And then we also have some locals or some regional bands. There was just so much good stuff that came out in Iowa or the surrounding Midwest that we just had to include everything.
Yeah. So this is my top 10. And I will say a lot of these we talked about, some of them we didn't. The ones that we've already talked about, I'll also say the episode number so you can go back and hear the whole dang thing. if you want. Otherwise, I'll probably just kind of blow through these. So the first one is Quasi, Breaking the Balls of History. This one I thought was really fun, inventive, eccentric, kind of indie rock stuff, cool instrumentation, songs, and vocals. We talked about this on episode 110. And I would say this reminded me of, or for fans of, Tripping Daisy, Flaming Lips, Devo, Raining Sound, among a lot of other things.
When you went up on the wrong track, and we're a million miles apart now, with a dead horse before the cart now. And when there's nothing left to say, dear, you gotta zip it up and play, dear.
Next record is by Eve Toomer. The record is called Praise a Lord Who Chews, but which does not consume, or simply Hot Between Worlds. So that's quite the title. Yeah, this record's really, I really enjoyed it a lot. It's something you can put on, and it's not maybe as intense as some of the other things on my list here. That doesn't mean it's like easy by any means. Yeah, it's a mixture of soul, synth pop, indie stuff, super creative approaches to the arrangements, production, sound. I won't go into this too much because I probably will want to talk about it at a later time. But it comes across as very like conscientious and personal. Things it reminded me of or whatever. The first one is going to sound weird, but Q Lazarus did that song for Silence of the Lambs, Goodbye Horses. Kind of has a feel like that. Perfume Genius, yeahs, were some of the things it brought to mind.
Is this the operator? I felt you hesitate more. You're the new married couple. I thought I'd save some money. Oh no.
The next one on my list is a collaboration between grindcore band Full of Hell and a shoegaze group called Nothing. The album's called When No Birds Sang. There's a full review on the next episode of our show, so you can't go back and check that out, but you can go into the future and check it out. But yeah, grindy, slow, but really pretty. A really nice ambient metal grind record. Reminded me of Jesu, Mogwai, Nadja, stuff like that. So next record was Young Fathers, Heavy Heavy. We talked about this on episode 94. It's very soulful indie pop stuff. I found it to be uplifting and mellow, but also intense, unwavering in its like approach. Kind of reminded me of TV on the Radio, the Eno Burn record in the My Life in the Bush of Ghosts, and sort of some of that Burundi beat stuff that we've talked about. So like Bow Wow Wow and Adam and the Ants, stuff like that.
Hit a beat of the drums and go now. Have fun, go on. We don't need other ones to have one, so have one, someone. Hit a beat of the drums and go now. Have fun,
next record on my list is by Hot Graves. The album is called Plague Wielder. We talked about this on episode 113. Yeah, an intense mixture of everything good and heavy. It's really fun, fast, aspects of thrash, black metal, industrial, party metal, symphonic metal, D-beat, crust, like all kinds of stuff. New wave of British heavy metal. Things that reminded me of Suicidal Tendencies, Discharge, Ministry, Slayer, Possessed, Emperor, Glass Ox. Okay, so the next record is by a little known group called Connate. Connate hadn't put a record out in a long time and essentially was considered to be done, but then they just came out with this record kind of out of nowhere. Yeah, they're kind of a doom super group. Just one of my favorite groups probably ever. Beyond excruciating, painful, torturous, just slow, screamy doom. But I think at times it provides like some sort of release, and that's kind of the reward for the listener is like you go through this straight up torture and then it kind of lets out. But this album's no different than any other Connate record. The songs are a little longer. They kind of relish in the quiet moments a little bit more, I think. And I just realized that the singer Alan Dubin sounds just like Bon Scott, which was a funny thing to realize, and it made me love it even more. This is where I would usually compare it to Connate, but since it is Connate, I can't. So maybe like The Body or I Hate God, Saint Vitus, stuff like that.
Look in the closet. The things in the world. They speak of revulsion.
Okay, so I'm trying to get through these without talking too much. So the next one is by an artist called Smokey Dog. The O is an X, so SMXKYDOG. The record's called Kill All Witness. I don't know a single thing about Smokey Dog as a person and performer or whatever. So this music is part of like the drift funk trend. Basically, I'll make it as fast as I can. Russian teens who are into drifting their cars, like Tokyo Drift, are way into Memphis hip hop, and especially the shitty lo-fi tapes from Memphis, 90s Memphis hip hop. And so it's kind of a trend, and people are kind of recreating that sound. So this is like 90s Memphis hip hop, but almost unlistenable because of how degraded the sound quality is. So it honestly sounds like a cassette being eaten by a cassette player most of the time. It's noisy, unrelenting. It's beyond challenging, but for me, it's like one of the best things I've heard in a while. Because, yeah, everyone who listens to this show knows that I love chopped and screwed hip hop, probably more than anything hip hop related. And so this plays right into it. And I really like this. Things that reminded me of, I don't know, 3 6 Mafia, DJ Screw, OG Ron C, Fat Pat, Ice. But yeah, all of that stuff is presented in a way that it just happened to be shitty and lo-fi, and this is sort of on purpose, but I still don't think it's necessarily ironic. Anyway, that was a long review. My next pick is by Horror, who spell their name HO9909. The record's called Presents Territory, Turf Talk, Volume 2. So Horror is like a punk rap, trap metal duo. And for the longest time, I would say it was straight up horrorcore and fell into a lot of the trappings of horrorcore. And I still listen to it because I liked it. But this record, and they've been on this trajectory for a while, gets a lot more experimental. There's elements of industrial vaporwave. It's intense and energetic, wild, getting real weird. And in that weirdness, getting really unnerving. The tracks Get Back and Stunt Double will seriously probably kill you. Things that it sort of reminded me of, I don't know, Death Grips, Saul Williams, Fuck Money, stuff along those lines.
Hey, bro, know you hear a young nigga creaking what you faking for? Hey, lay low. Don't think my old ass bones can take any more.
Okay, just a couple more, guys. My next pick, this is the second to last, number 2, is Mod the Moth. The record is called Bordando El Manto Terrestre. Mod the Moth is a project from Amaya Lopez Caramiro. She's a Spanish-born, Scotland-based pianist, songwriter. This record I found was really cinematic, haunting, classically inspired synthwave, huge organs, synths, classical guitar, piano, operatic vocals, spoken monologues. It just really did it for me on every level. I loved it. It reminded me a bit of Godspeed You Black Emperor, Black Moth Super Rainbow, Julie Cruz, and it had the same kind of feel of the Air Virgin Suicides soundtrack, which is one of my favorite things probably ever recorded. And I loved this record, Mod the Moth. And at number 1, I picked MS Paint, Post American. And from the opening second to the end of this recording, I was in love with it. I just love the way it made me feel. I love the approach. It's super spazzy, vaporwave-ish, angular, synth punk, but still very much punk. Like, I don't know how to describe that. It mixes so many elements seamlessly. It's just energetic, confident. The performances are so great. It's hard to tell where one begins and one ends. Like, are the drums real, or is that part programmed? Is that a synth or a guitar? Like, it doesn't matter. And the vocals are just shouted in a really energetic, fun way. my favorite part of it is it allows itself to like soar a little bit, open up, and just go into these really pretty moments for, maybe just a few seconds at a time, but it adds a lot to it. Things that reminded me of Fugazi, the Fashion Pimps, and Big Black a little bit. I don't know, lots of different things.
Just a passerby in the midst of the storm. Straight thoughts you taking all the pressure you've worn. It burns its way into the front of your mind, spending all of your time counting drops from the sky. I just wanna feel it, not delete it, something real or indistinguished. I just wanna feel it. Not deleted, something real or indistinguished. I just wanna feel more alive.
So that is my top 10 records. As far as locals, I did something a little different. I went with like superlatives. And so I'll just read through them. The most fun local record, I think, was Death Kill Overdrive Juicing. Like, it's just from beginning to end, fun.
I got one fucking life. Can I even think I'm wasting a blink? Open tired eyes. I'm blocking out quick. Dead somewhere along the line. We come in too late. Only children all of the time. You need emotion and sleep. We all make 360 hours away.
The best debut, I had Jack Christensen. It looks different at night. I just thought this was a bold first record, and I thought it was really well made.
Autumn breaks here soon. Inside another one. Falling leaves. We don't break like you. In our many at your
Most intense, Closet Witch with Cairo Scuro. I have a hard time saying that one, but I mean, this is a short record. It almost feels like one track, and it never lets up, and it's just so intense. The wildest recording or local record, Greg Wheeler and Polly Malkops, Manic Fever. I just love this. It's nothing but pure energy, and it just seems like it's about to go off the rails the whole time, but never really does.
Love me like a widow, hold me till life. Not. Take me to the river, hold me down till life. Drop. Slowly erasing you. Slowly erasing you. Feel through the window, haunt me when you're not.
The toughest local recording I had as Thought Wrong, the Thought Wrong EP. I just love this. This is right up my alley. This is hardcore to me, where it doesn't feels kind of tough, but it's not about beat downs and crowd killing. As far as I can tell, it just has an energy to it that's like, I don't know, emboldens you as a listener a little bit. my last one, this one I just had is most blowing up your fucking speakers. True Commando. I lurk in the camo. I loved this recording. It's just intense, noisy jungle, and you should check it out. So yeah, that's my list.
You know, what's interesting is that I actually don't think we have any of the same picks
Wow.
at all.
At all?
Which is now in the locals we do.
Oh, okay.
Only one.
Wow. That's
So,
awesome.
It is. Okay, so now my list, actually, it's mostly, I got to say, I think it's about 60% stuff that we reviewed, and then 40% we didn't review.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so at number 10 is Public Image Limited, End of World. Now, I never actually listened to Public Image Limited until you picked Flowers of Romance, which we reviewed like a while back. And I just really like this album. This is actually, I went back and I actually listened to the first couple of Public Image Limited records after Flowers of Romance because I was just so surprised at how wild Flowers of Romance was.
Mm-hmm.
And then I decided to give this one a listen because I had read that it is a really good release. And it is. It's just it's actually a pretty fun record. You know, it reminds me of sort of that new wave kind of thing that they were doing. Maybe like on some of the later records after Flowers of Romance. Lots of drum machines and, you know, yeah, it's good stuff. As far as the stuff it reminds me of, honestly, I can say without a doubt, at least based on this record, that I'm sure Sleaford Mods were pretty influenced by Public Image Limited. So, I mean, this record actually reminded me a lot of Sleaford Mods. So that's my number 10 pick. Number 9 is Mudhoney, Plastic Eternity. I haven't listened to a Mudhoney record since probably Every Good Boy Deserves Fudge. So this is the first Mudhoney record that I listened to since then. And it's because I came across the review of it that made it sound really interesting. And I was surprised to discover that they have been incorporating synths into their music over the years. I'm not sure if that's kind of a new development or if that's been happening, you know, for a little while now, but yeah, really fun, grungy garage rock. I think Mark Arm's voice is still as awesome as ever. The guitar riffs awesome as ever. And this was a really, really great, fun release. So yeah, I think if you're into, you know, the Stooges and just like all of the other Mudhoney records, you know, a lot of the stuff, I don't know, Screaming Trees a little bit, Green River, even like the heavier, like more garagey side of like Pearl Jam. This will be right up your alley.
Under cover of night, once we start dreaming, swarming our thoughts, it's time for the feeding. Enthralled by our rot rats are closing in.
Number 8 is Snooper, Super Snooper. This we reviewed a while back, and this was just one of my favorite releases of the year. It just really bratty, snotty kind of garage rock that's produced in a very lo-fi fashion, which is what totally adds character to it. The stuff that it reminded me of, Cherry Cheeks, it reminded me even a little bit of like something like Six Finger Satellite, Fashion Pips and the Glamazons. A little bit of the Liars is kind of in there as well. Why Bother? And a little bit of Jay Reatard and Ty Segall. Yeah, really, really good stuff if you're into that sort of sound. Then up next is Geese 3D Country. This record just checked so many boxes for me. It starts off pretty chaotic, sounding almost like somewhere between like the Butthole Surfers and I don't know, maybe like the Meat Puppets or something, because there's almost like this country twang to that opening track, but then it really delves into something really different for the rest of the record. There's sort of like this soul kind of vibe going on. There's some I don't know, glam touches there, you know, overall indie rock. The stuff that this reminded me of was like the Strokes. At times it reminded me of Meat Puppets or Butthole Surfers. Yeah, just kind of like New York kind of glam music, like maybe even like a little bit of Television or something like that at times. Okay, and then the next one that I have is Atmosphere. So many realities exist simultaneously. So Atmosphere actually released two records. He released a Talk EP just recently. I haven't gotten around to listening to that yet, but this record, in my opinion, is so good. It may even be one of the best Atmosphere releases in quite a while. So Atmosphere, of course, consists of MC Slug and producer Ant. They're from Minneapolis. They're one of my favorite hip hop groups, which to anyone who listens knows that because I mention them quite often. And yeah, it's just really, really good beats. And the lyrics, I think, are some of the most fun that I've heard come out of Slug in quite a while, while also being, you know, that sort of emotional kind of rap that he does. And Slug is always, I mean, he's always been one of my favorite MCs. As far as the stuff that, you know, I think if you like pretty much any artist on Rhymesayers, you're going to love Atmosphere, but also like Sage Francis. And yeah, just really good hip hop done well, as always. I wouldn't expect anything less from Atmosphere.
You don't even know what you looking at. I gave everything, then I took it back. I'm a dinosaur behind a crooked mask. I feel like a brand new book of matches. Shark beat with a bottle of chartreuse off the bar stool. Caught the carpool. Heartbeat hit the gas and broke loose. Moon boots, bubble goose, and a harpoon. No way. Is everybody okay? Wellness check, then give me my bouquet. Took the car to a train. Took a train to the plane. I don't wanna play games. I'll meet you at the Jubilee. It used to be peace, love, and unity. And I scroll through the news to see the next shooting spree. What you doing to me? Stop. Change the program, right? Change the program, right? Don't hold your breath. Change the program.
Up next is the Reverend Kristen Michael Hayter, Saved. I just really appreciated this take on Lingua Ignata's musical persona. I love the recording of it. I love the way that it just sounds like it was recorded on a cassette tape player, which I think it actually was. I like the satirical element of it. I like the fact that, you know, she actually researched the subject matter. It's just really, really continues on that sort of like disturbing but revealing sort of musical persona that she's got. I really, really enjoyed this release. As far as the stuff to compare it to, I mean, in all honesty, she has such her own musical world that I mean, if you listen back to the review we did of it, I struggled to really compare it or even describe it then. But basically, I think if you're a fan of Lingua Ignata, I think you'll enjoy this and the direction that they went with it.
Would you be free from the burden of sin? There is power in the blood, power in the blood. Would you or evil a victory win? There is wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the blood of the Lamb. There is power, power, wonder-working power in the precious blood of the Lamb. Would you be free from your passion and pride? There's power in the blood, power in the blood. Come for a cleansing to Calvary's tide. There is wonderful power in the blood. There is power, power.
Okay, so up next, Aesop Rock, Integrated Tech Solutions. There really isn't anything new here that Aesop Rock is doing. It's pretty much a continuation of his sort of electronic synth-heavy sound that he's pretty much been doing ever since he signed to Rhymesayers with Skeleton back in, I think that was what, 2011, 2012, somewhere around there. But it is just so good and just so clever, and the rhyme schemes are, you know, always on point. I also think that over the years, Aesop Rock has found a way to make his wordplay, I don't want to say a little less intricate, but at least a little more soothing to the ear, I guess you could say. And that's not to say that old releases like Bazooka Tooth and Labor Days were not pleasant to listen to, but it's just that he's really found a way to kind of slow down his delivery, but still make it sound intricate. It's just a really, really well done, once again, a well done hip hop record from Aesop Rock. If you're a fan of Bus Driver, heck, I would even say like production wise, something like Death Grips, because of the heavy synth sort of element or electronic vibe of it. Danny Brown a little bit maybe as well, because he's been getting pretty experimental in some of his recent stuff as well.
I like drawing pigeons. People tend to feed them off a bit of me. The way it's rare to see them individually considered. There's always like a million eating cigarettes and ketchup. I take a lot of pictures. I've been cropping out the extras. I've been studying the independent measurements and metrics. The postures and the body types, the patterns on the feathers, like some ritualistic tattoo dating back to their ancestors, while the bib and neck come dipped in precious amethyst and emeralds. It's a pity about the stigmas, how the cooties overshadow any beauty that enrich us. A white dove symbolizes peace and pacifism. A white dove is
Okay, so I think we're now down to the top three. So next up, Pagan Athletes, Landlocked. I just love this. It's kind of like an arty version of noise rock or hardcore. Really put me in mind of some of the stuff that was kind of coming out in the art rock scene of like the early 2000s, whether it was like Arab on Radar, a little bit of like Men's Recovery Project, a little bit of like Lightning Bolt and stuff like that. But they really take all these elements and make it their own and present it in a, I think, almost more of a refined way that is really, really listenable and really fun to listen to. The musicianship is just extraordinary, and I really, really enjoyed this release, Pagan Athletes Land Grab. Okay, so a couple more here. Squid, Oh Monolith, would be my number 2 pick. I just thought this was such an interesting record. The production on it was fantastic. It went a lot of different places that I did not expect it to go. It's got everything on it, it seems like, in terms of genre. I mean, there's like a little bit of like a funky soul element at times. There's a little bit of dark kind of new wave stuff on it, even like elements of like krautrock that we talked about. And just so you know, we are going to actually give a full review of the Squid record on the next episode. This is a really, really great release. Okay, so my album of the year is Water from Your Eyes, Everyone's Crushed. I just really appreciate the collage element of this. They utilize a lot of interesting sounds and interesting noises, but also like it's not so experimental that it's it's not listenable. In fact, it's highly listenable because they kind of utilize all that and kind of put it through the filter of a really good pop band. Yeah, this is hands down the record that blew me away in 2023 that I'm still listening to, I mean, to this day. As far as the stuff it reminds me of Beck, Stereo Lab, Bumblebees 81, a little bit of Sonic Youth. So yeah, now we did review this record as well. I think maybe early on in the year. Yeah. That's my number 1 pick. Water from Your Eyes, Everyone's Crushed.
There are no happy endings. There are only things that happen. Buy my product.
Now, as far as the local releases, so I picked 5 that I thought were fantastic. Literally everything that we reviewed this year from Iowa was just absolutely fantastic. But these are the top 5 that really stood out to me. Number 5, Why Bother came out with like 3 records, and one of them is called Calling All Goons. And yeah, just fantastic. Synthy garage rock. They're not doing anything too different, but they're doing it well. Absolutely fantastic.
In my hometown there's a 2-headed boy. One head is Tim, the other head is Roy. They like to bowl and play Nintendo games. They don't get teased or get called nasty names. The kids, they hang out or have fun, playing soccer in the sun. Long live our little friends Tim and Roy. Nature's beautiful informations.
Next up is Closet Witch, Chiaroscuro. And yeah, just like Erik said, it feels like one track that's over almost instantly, but it never lets up. Like I said before in the review, the aesthetic that they're using really gives me like old school Dark Throne vibes. But other than that, they're just one of the most intense bands ever, and they're great people. Period. Number 3, New Standards Men, Against Our Vanishings. This record blew me away. I really just love their take on instrumental music. And I think that it comes from a place that is really sincere. And I think that they really have a vision. And yeah, it was just one of my favorite records of the year. Number 2 is Basketball Divorce Court, Rebound. This record also blew my mind because of the just pure raw emotion that was put in it. I mean, at times, just the vocals were just almost scathing, and the music was just super intense and keeps you on the edge of your seat. And everything that was being said, I think, was being said from a very, very real place. And I just can't appreciate that enough. And then my number 1 pick, a local act, is SLWCC Watt, Purple Pie Plow. I just really love this record. It's probably my favorite that I've heard from Samuel Locke Ward, and probably Mike Watt, to be honest, too, because I've never really heard Mike Watt's solo stuff. But I am a fan of the Minutemen, but I just think that they really hit it out of the park with this release. Mm-hmm. And songs are great. You know, the in between segments that Mike Watt is doing his spoken word stuff is fantastic and works really well and contributes to a flow of the record. And yeah, I just think it's really, really well done. Okay, so in addition to my picks, I also have a few honorable mentions. A lot of these could have easily been on my top 10. All right, so Kool Keith, who is actually my favorite MC, he put out 4 albums this year, Erik.
That's a lot.
I mean, I can't even get through 4 albums of Kool Keith throughout the year. I love Kool Keith, but 4 albums in a year. But there is one that I listen to, and I think it's fantastic. It's called Serpent. The Armed Perfect Saviors. Not as good as Ultra Pop, but it's damn good. Then there's this band called Blues Lawyer who I discovered, and the record is all in good time. Really great, like jangly sort of indie pop type stuff. Danny Brown did a collaboration with JPEG Mafia called Scaring the Hose. I bet you would like that. If you haven't listened to it, I bet you would like that, Eric.
Yep. I love it.
And then Earl Sweatshirt, The Alchemist, Wire Dyer. Now, I love what's even more, not to say that this record isn't interesting, but the story behind it's even more interesting. So 2 years ago or so, they actually released it on YouTube as a hidden record under a different name. And The Alchemist tweeted out, there is a hidden record that I did with Earl Sweatshirt. Let's see if you can find it. Nobody ever found it. So this is the hidden record. They decided to actually come out and release it. So that's interesting. King Tuff, Small Town Stardust. Just really great indie rock. Kind of reminds me of like Built to Spill a little bit, or Bonnie Prince Billy type stuff. Open Mike Eagle, another triumph of ghetto engineering. Fantastic hip hop, underground sound. My type of stuff. Muel Bo Red, fantastic instrumental type stuff. PJ Harvey, I Inside the Old Year Dying, really good release from her. I think that's kind of the first record she's released in quite a few years. Quasi, Breaking the Balls of History, fantastic. Shame, Food for Worms, fantastic, like sort of Brit punk, I guess you could say. If you like The Clash, it's a good one. Queens of the Stone Age, In Times New Roman, really fantastic rock and roll from QOTSA. Sleaford Mods, UK Grim. It's Sleaford Mods, man. You know what they do, and they've never stopped doing it, and it's fantastic. Or maybe you don't know what they do, but if you do know what they do, then you know what to expect. And it's fantastic stuff. Sparks, The Girl Is Crying in Her Latte. Yeah, just really great songwriting, and I just really enjoyed it. And then Sweeping Promises, Good Living Is Coming For You, who we reviewed their first record, I think last year. Yeah, really good stuff. Just new wave kind of stuff. Production on this one was a little bit more lo-fi and rough, which I really liked. So yeah, there's my honorable mentions list, Eric.
Nice. Yeah, I don't have quite as many honorable mentions, but I did.
Sorry about that.
Oh, no, I didn't mean to imply that was a bad thing. But yeah, and all of these probably could have made it on to my list as well. But some of them I didn't get to spend as much time with because I either just discovered it or it kind of just came out, you know. But yeah, I'd start with 10 Tricks Point Never, the album Again. Yeah, it's phenomenal. It's like somewhere in between brain dance, classical, glitchy, soul, pop. I don't know. It's phenomenal. Let's see. There's an album called This Ain't Art by Gnarface, who is Hill Gnarly from Kate Moss and Nate No Face. So that's where you get the Gnarface. So, very cool industrial, almost a old school industrial approach to that one. But yeah, I loved that. The new Haploid, Villains Amiss. I mean, this just came out, and I feel like I haven't been able to spend any time with it. But what I've heard is phenomenal, and I love it. The Orbiting Human Circus, the album's called Quartet Plus Two. This is Julian, the saw player from Neutral Milk Hotel, his band. So it very much has a feel like that. But yeah, you kind of know what you're getting into there. Optic Sync. The album's called Glass Blocks. This is like synth wavy stuff. I would say kind of reminded me of Young Marble Giants and how sparse the production is, but really cool record. And this is kind of a weird one. There's a movie called May December, and I really enjoyed the score for that. So those are my honorable mentions.
Cool. And yes, I gotta mention the Haploid record as well. Man, that is so good.
It is awesome.
And then I could go on forever, but I'm gonna also list another one that I feel like I should mention. That is a local. I think these guys are. I think they're from Iowa City. I don't remember, or maybe it's Dubuque, but Moscow Puzzles.
Yeah, for
cicadas are sensitive to parallel lines.
Mm-hmm.
Holy shit, great stuff. Anyway,
Yeah.
so
So lots of
2023, and there's still like so much stuff out there that I haven't mentioned, and but you know, that's the way it is. There's too much stuff, and that's
There's too
definitely not
much
a bad
stuff.
thing.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Too
And
much stuff, or actually, I guess a better way to say it is there's just a lot of stuff.
Mhm. Yeah, and chances are we'll talk about some of this stuff in upcoming episodes, you know, because
Definitely,
I would like to go into
definitely.
more detail about some of my picks, and I'd love to hear more about some of Dan's picks. So
Yeah,
wow, that's it,
100%.
guys. We made it. 2023.
We're done forever.
One for
We're
the
done forever
books.
until next year. One for the books. That's another.
Yeah.
Made it through the year.
Yeah. Another
Yeah.
horrifying year.
I wonder what everybody's gonna do for New Year's Eve.
Yeah, I don't know. What are your plans?
I think I'm gonna stay home.
Yeah. Me too,
That's
probably.
probably what I'm gonna do. I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't really go out anymore on New
Mhm.
Year's Eve. I
Yeah.
used to. I used to go out all the time.
Yeah.
One time I went to a house. Yeah, I went
Whoa.
to someone's house one time.
Well, that's pretty cool. Nice.
Yeah, I felt like a rebel because it was like the first time I could do it, like on my own.
Mm.
It felt pretty extraordinary, like I had power or something. Yeah,
Your first time going to a house on your own? Were you
my
little?
first time going to a house on my own. No. Like
Oh.
like I'm talking about like being 16 and driving in the car. for
Oh,
the
okay.
first time.
I see.
On like
Yeah.
New Year's Eve, I felt like I was on top of the world, Eric.
Nice.
Like, yeah, you know how you are when you're 16. Like, you're 16, and the first time you do anything is like a big deal. You know,
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
some of it's
Yeah.
not.
That's what I've
pleasant,
heard.
but-
I don't remember anything about being 16.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You don't remember 16?
No,
Hmm.
the way my brain works is there is no past. It's just kind of like now and a blank period before that. You know, like every moment of my life is the big bang, and whatever happened before that, well, we just don't know.
I can't help but always think back to like, oh, this is how it was in the 90s sometimes, you know what I mean? Or this is how it was in the 2000s. Like, I'm interested in that sort of like, I don't want to say nostalgia culture, but you know, I kind of am sometimes. No, I just like to compare. Like, it's interesting how we went from literally no phones, except for, you know, home phones, landlines, to the flip phones,
I say, yo, flip you for real.
which became a thing in what, the mid 2000s? That's about the time that I started noticing that everybody kind of had a cell phone, you know?
Mhm.
To now we basically have a computer in our hands, you know?
Mhm.
It's interesting
Pretty much.
how quickly, and I can't help but think that the turtles
I like turtles.
are responsible for that because they used to have the turtle communicators,
Hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
the turtle comms, where they would, that's seriously what they called it in the cartoon, turtle comms.
Nice.
Answer the turtle comm. It's probably April. And she's probably in trouble. She's being held up by some punks at the New York subway.
Oh man. Classic.
We gotta get them. I just like the idea of like somebody saying we got to get them and then like punching their hand.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
I like that.
Ugh, that sort of thing. We got to get them. Let's get them.
Yeah.
that sort of thing.
That's our New Year's resolution as a show.
We're gonna
Let's get them. We gotta get them. And we're punching our hands the whole time. This episode's gonna get them.
that would actually work as an industrial song. Let's get them.
Let's get them.
I wonder what Al Jorgensen does on New Year's Eve.
Shoot. I don't even want to think about it, really. I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
I bet it's either intense or not. But no
It's
in
one of the
between.
two.
Yeah. It's either sleeping it off or getting ready to sleep it off.
Yeah, Al, if you're listening, let us know. You can send us a message.
Yeah, Al, let us know
on
what
the-
you did on New Year's Eve.
on the. What's Al doing?
Yeah, what's Al doing?
You think anybody ever said, "Oh, Al Jorgensen"? Like he had a girlfriend, like Al Jorgensen.
Like in a dreamy way?
Al. No. I mean, like if he screws up.
Oh,
Oh, Al.
I'm sure all of his friends and cohorts and family members say that all the time.
Oh, Jorgensen.
Oh, Al.
Oh,
Another
Al.
face tattoo.
Wait, does he have face tattoos now?
I assume so.
We learned so much today.
I mean, it's
we
almost incomprehensible. How much?
Incomprehensible.
Yeah.
Incomprehensible. Yeah, definitely.
We talked about so much
incomprehensible.
music. I mean, we
Yeah,
probably
a
talked
lot.
about 50 records today.
Yeah, probably close
So
to it.
get to
anyway.
work, listeners.
Yep. Come on.
Yeah. We work this hard, so you also have to say.
So you also have to.
Yeah.
Like we're like, if I have to do it, so
Yeah.
do you.
Yeah. I have to get up and go to work every day. All you have to do is sit there and listen to the teacher.
We should do a poll and be like, should we start sounding like a couple of hard ass dads
Hard
to our
dads.
listeners? Hard dads, the Hard Dads podcast.
My persona's been a hard daddy the entire time we've done this show.
Hey, thank you for listening in 2023.
Yeah.
And in all seriousness, though, this podcast, I do have to say, it wouldn't be possible without the listeners for sure. This is,
Mhm.
I think every single time that we see that people are actually listening and support it, I mean, it definitely gives us the drive to keep doing episodes,
Mhm.
and it's amazing that we've gotten this far, Eric.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is episode
what-
121.
121, and it's the last episode of 2023.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've been doing this since 2021 now, right? Or is it even
yeah, I
2020?
thought it was 1980. That's what it feels like.
But anyway, yeah, no, it's been a really great ride, and so here's to another year, Eric.
Yeah,
2024.
we'll see.
More records, and we'll see. That's exactly what we'll do. We'll see. That's our motto. Accelerativ Thrust. We'll see.
Yeah.
Well, as usual, if you think that we should be talking about someone or a band or anything, or if you have any questions, hit us up on the old Instagram or Facebook.
Mhm.
We're pretty easy to find. You just type Accelerativ Thrust into the search engine, and then while you're at it, follow us.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to do that anymore.
Yeah. And if you do get a hold of us, we'll respond nearly instantly because, well, we're pretty thirsty, and that's just the way it is. We'll be like, "Oh my God, a listener," and
We're dehydrated.
yeah, we'll shower you with attention
Kindness.
and kindness.
Yeah.
Probably not gifts.
we'll kill you with kindness. That's what
Shit.
we'll do.
There's a straight up threat, y'all.
It's a
Deal
minor
with it.
threat. Happy New Year!
Yeah, happy New Year, everybody. We'll see you.
Yeah.
See you in 2024.
2024. Okay. Hope everyone has a good New Year. Bye.
Bye. Actually, everyone will hear this after the New Year, so whatever.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah.